On Larry King Now, Blackish star Yara Shahidi. Blackish is a certified hit. Why do you think it's such a hit?
I mean, they make it as real as possible. It's about just what it means to be a family, what it means to be a black family, and even the intergenerational connections that we have, which is why I feel like so many people connect with it.
Talk of a show for you alone.
No matter what happens, I want to see my character grow, and I feel like college, they've discussed, is a perfect environment to see her in a new setting that has been unestablished before, and really be able to tackle topics that we haven't been able to.
You are not a fan of our president?
I mean, part of that is just as a young black girl with the last name Shahidi, who has relatives in Iran.
I know him 35 years. Would you like to meet him?
No.
Plus, the NBA's first ever female scout, Bonnie-Jill Laflin.
There's a big jump from college to the NBA, to the big, so there's a lot of different things that we look at. And we watch these players, Larry, over and over again. We don't go to one game. If there's a prospect we like, you continually go and watch him against other players, how he plays in the tournament and so forth.
It's all next on Larry King Now. Joining me now is 17-year-old actress and activist Yara Shahidi, who's already making a big impact on Hollywood and beyond. She stars as Zoey Johnson on the hit comedy Blackish, which airs Wednesdays at 9:30 Eastern on ABC. I saw her the other night on Jimmy Kimmel. You are terrific.
Thank you.
Blackish is a certified hit. Why do you think it's such a hit?
I really have to say it's because of that lovely writing room that we have. I mean, it's such a diverse writer's room, and it's based off of the life of the creator of the show, Kenya Barris, and Anthony Anderson, of course. And so, I mean, they make it as real as possible. It's about just what it means to be a family, what it means to be a black family, and even the intergenerational connections that we have, which is why I feel like so many people connect with it.
It's a comedy, but it's a lot of social commentary.
Most definitely. I mean, yeah, they really haven't been afraid to go after topics that may seem uncomfortable or that there's like stigma around, partly because I feel like comedy is the perfect platform to tackle those topics.
What do you like? Do you like working with Tracy and Anthony?
Oh, I love them. I love them. We were at the wrap party last night, and what I loved so much is that I felt like I basically had one large family. I was headed out, and everybody asked me on the way out, like, are you good? Text me when you get home. Let me know that you're safe. And I was like, I'm surrounded by a lot of people that care about me, and that's been developing over the 3 years we've been working together.
You just wrapped the 3rd season?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a 4th season?
Hopefully.
I would certainly think there would be. Mm-hmm. How'd you get the part?
It was a...
You were 14?
I was a new I may have been 13 when I auditioned, but it was 2 auditions. One was with Kenya and the director, and then we go in to do the screen test with Anthony, and it was one of the most fantastic things because we walk in and we're both wearing the same pair of shoes. So I think that was like just an instant connection.
Men's shoes or women's shoes?
We were wearing Cole Haan Oxfords, yeah, but then after that, we went completely off script, partly because Anthony just didn't have his script with him.
Had you acted before?
Yeah, I had just come off of another show and I had done 3 movies at that point. Wow. And so, yeah, it was...
You're from Minneapolis, huh?
I am.
Where did you jack there?
I started in print and commercial there. My mother's actually a commercial actress, so... Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken, is like the 4th largest producer of commercials or something. Really? Some stat similar
Especially
to that.
If you want to do winter commercials.
Yes, great for winter coats.
Talk of a show for you alone, right? I mean, you're going to have your own show? That's the word.
I mean, it's something that they're possibly discussing. They definitely know that no matter what happens...
Would you still recur on...
Yeah, they want to definitely, no matter what happens, they want to see my character grow, and I feel like college, they've discussed, is a perfect environment to see her in a new setting that has been unestablished before, and really be able to tackle topics that we haven't been able to in the past.
You like Zoey?
Do I like Zoey, or am I like her?
No, do you like her?
I like her, and I feel like I've grown to like her more and more as the seasons passed. There were a couple moments where I'm like, what is she doing right now? What in the world is she doing? Who does this? But I think as the seasons have passed, I've become a little bit of Zoey and she's become a little bit of me. And so if I don't like her, then I really don't like me. That would be a problem.
Is it one of the problems they say when you're young and successful, the feeling of too much too soon?
I mean,
Dealing with fame and you don't have a normal teenage childhood.
I mean, I guess the way I view it is that whether I was on this show or not, I feel like I would have a very similar path in that, like, from my education to my experiences, they're all things that I would love and desire anyway. And so what I guess Blackish has done is given me a platform to have those experiences, like going to the African American History Museum and touring for 5 hours. And we've really been able to use it to cultivate other interests outside of Blackish. And there is that sense of normalcy that I try and get. We're on our break right now.
It's not normal. It's a...
It isn't, but what is normal?
You go to high school?
I go to the Dwight School, and it is distance learning for the most part, but I'm in contact with my teachers. I'm going to prom this year and graduating this year with all of my classmates.
My sons are baseball players. They have independent studies.
Mm-hmm.
One is at Beverly, and they meet with a teacher, they get grades, they graduate with the class, they go to proms, but they don't go to school every day.
It's interesting because I think even before being on a series as a series regular, I'd gone in and out of distance learning and different programs, partly because what we were looking for in a school was not so much the ability to be at school while I'm not at school, but more so the flexibility to study what I want. And so with the Dwight School, I think whether or not I was on Blackish, what it's offered me is the ability to take any AP class I want and really form the curricula around current events.
School's in L.A.?
It's in New York. It's based in New York.
The show is shot?
It's shot right like 20 minutes from here in Burbank.
Beautiful downtown Burbank. You're politically active, right?
I am.
You are not a fan of our president?
No.
Really?
I mean, part of that is just as a young black girl with the last name Shahidi who has relatives in Iran.
I know him 35 years. Would you like to meet him?
No, not really. Kind decline.
Are you shocked or disappointed?
A little
so
bit of
far?
Both. I mean, as somebody who wants to study sociology, I try and process this as rationally as I can. I think my issue with, the election cycle was that a lot of what was said, or the rhetoric that was said, went against a lot of people's identities, and I feel as though, having worked so hard in the past 8 years to establish a place in which most people are finally gaining a sense of equality, a lot of that has disappeared. And even with the travel ban, that affects my family. And so...
Well, your father's from Iran, right?
And so it's hard not to take this a little personally.
No, you bet. Wow, you're a terrific young lady.
Thank you.
In our final moments, Yara will take your questions from social media. Stay with us. We're back with Yara Shahidi. I love that name.
Thank you.
She's Zoey Johnson on the hit comedy Blackish every Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern on ABC. A letter of recommendation for college was written for you by Michelle Obama. What college?
Well, it goes to many colleges.
To whom it may concern.
Yes.
How did you meet her?
I actually met her the first time with my Blackish cast and have been fortunate enough to be included in a lot of her learning initiatives, and it's been pretty surreal because she's just an outstanding and amazing and inspiring person to be around.
She's a great lady.
Yeah, fantastic.
What college you want to go to?
I'm keeping that under wraps because I don't want to jinx it.
Let me guess. Is it in the Northeast?
Possibly.
Harvard will be lucky. Anyway, just a guess. It was some social media questions. KJM1016 on Twitter. Your father was Prince's private photographer and a family friend. What was Prince the man like?
Well, my father can tell you more about that, but just from my experience growing up around him and being able to go to certain shows, I would have to say that we wouldn't really be here without him, and he made the point of supporting my family as creatives. He even screened the first movie that I was in a movie theater so that everybody could see it.
I liked him. He was a special guy.
Definitely a true artist.
At JEK on Twitter, how does it feel to work with such progressive, forward-thinking writers on Blackish?
I think that's why this show has gelled so much for me and why I've really enjoyed the past 3 years, is because it really matches who I am. The fact that we are a politically aware show, and so to be able to see that reflected in the work that I spend 60 hours a week on, it's pretty fantastic.
They also ask, is anything off limits with the writers?
Off limits? I mean, as of yet, no.
Abigail Swift on the Larry King Now blog, do you think you faced a more difficult time making it in Hollywood as a woman of color?
I would have to say I've been pretty fortunate in the roles that I find. I do think the one difficulty that I face, and I know I don't face as extreme cases as some of my peers do as women of color or people of color, but there is definitely a certain type of role that that you're typecast as, and so I feel like there's plenty of moments in which the two scripts that are out at the moment do not reflect who I am or who I want to represent. And so I think the extra or added pressure is more so this idea that everything I do is some sort of statement. And I mean, I'm proud that it's a statement.
You put that on yourself, or they put that on you?
I think it's just collective awareness of the impact of every image that we see in media, especially because it controls so much of the narrative that we understand. And so it's not even like something that is put upon me, but just a general understanding of the importance and power of seeing people of color on TV or any sort of protected class or minority on TV, and the importance of representing.
Sometimes it could be an edge, isn't it?
I mean, what it has done is has made what I do really intentional. And I think, if anything, it's given me a more focused path because I understand the importance of, I guess, the roles that I'm playing or the impact that they could potentially have. And so even with character Zoey, I feel like it's knowing that that's prompted us to make her as edgy as she is or as complex as she is.
Blackish is your show that maybe that could have been on 20 years ago, right?
No.
So
yeah.
we do progress a little.
Yes.
At Adi Aziz on Twitter, if you could do something besides acting, what would it be and why?
Ooh, I've thought about this so many times. I have switched careers in my mind 20 million times.
What pops up a lot?
Okay, so to go through a couple, I already know that I still want to study sociology and African American studies in college, and my goal is to continue down a path of public speaking and thought leadership. I describe what I want to do as politics adjacent and professional activism. And so if I can find
professional activism.
Yeah, if I can find
here's $100, go protest.
Not quite, but I mean in trying to help policy change, and so I guess that is politics, if I think about it.
Do you like to work in government?
Potentially. But I mean, sometimes it's like, you know what, I want to study criminology, and I was really set on going to Quantico for a while, and then I realized that there was like, you had to do push-ups, and there was like a physical activity thing, and I was like, you know what, I'm cool on that. So then I was thinking about potentially going into creative advertisement, because I understand just going back to why media is so
acting
important.
Isn't forever?
It's not even that it isn't forever, it's that it's one of the many things that I want to do. And it sounds strange, but I think one thing that my family has always said, because I'm from a family of creatives in the same industry as I am, and it's like acting is something that we do, and even though we're called actors, it's not really what we are, and so it's allowed me to continue down, I guess, a path of really enjoying the other things in life.
Thanks, Stu. And good luck at
Thank you.
getting into that college you want to
Thank
get
you
into.
so much.
It's near Cambridge.
Yes.
Anyway, a big thanks to my guest, Yara Shahidi. Be sure to see her. You'll sure to see her in Blackish. It airs Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. on ABC. And stay tuned. When we return, I'm joined by the NBA's first ever female scout, Bonnie-Jill Laflin. Welcome back to Larry King Now. Joining me is Bonnie-Jill Laflin, sports broadcaster, TV personality, and philanthropist. Bonnie is the first and only female NBA scout, a position she held with the Los Angeles Lakers from 2005 to 2012. And now Bonnie has joined the cast of Basketball Wives in its 6th season, airing Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on VH1. But you're not a basketball wife.
I'm not, Larry. They actually brought me into the show because they wanted to show different type of woman that's not normally on the cast, someone who's independent, career-driven, and they wanted to show like a different side of the women on that show and to get a different demographic to watch.
How'd you get to be a scout?
I actually was covering the Lakers for KCBS, which is a local affiliate in CBS, and they really liked how I could really watch these players and break them down and knew how the triangle was run. And Jerry Buss, the late Dr. Jerry Buss, Jeannie, Mitch Kupchak said, hey, let's try this out and see how it works. And I did it for a year without getting paid. And then after that, I was signed to a 5-year deal.
And you scout colleges?
Yes. At the time, it was Pac-10. Now it's, Pac-12.
Traveled all over the
Right. Yeah, and in Big 12 as well, because I went to University of Texas. So I loved it. I just, for a female, I know that sounds odd, but I loved going to the games and just, watching these players.
You were a cheerleader for the Golden State Warriors, the Dallas Cowboys, and the San Francisco 49ers?
Yes.
You just rolled through the team?
Right.
Why did you? You're beautiful, talented. You wanted to be a cheerleader?
Well, I guess, Larry, it was a way for me to combine both my passions. I grew up as a dancer, San Francisco Ballet Company, and loved sports. So that was a way for me to, enjoy both passions, doing my cheerleading and being able to enjoy these sports, teams. And I'm actually, the best seat in the house, so on the sidelines. And I got a Super Bowl ring with the 49ers and then went on to the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. And it was a great stepping stone, not something you do forever. I mean, I was right out of high school and, did it for 4 years and then I was done.
Where'd you grow up?
Actually, the Bay Area, San Francisco.
What do they pay cheerleaders?
$15 a game is what I got.
15?
Is what I got paid as a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. Funny enough, the most iconic and fabulous cheerleaders is $15. No tickets either.
What do you mean no tickets?
We'd have to buy our tickets if we wanted our family and friends to go.
But is it worth it to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader? Is that a stepping stone?
For me, it was. I actually got a lot of gigs after that, and people were kind of fascinated with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. And times have changed. Jerry Jones now, pays the girls a little more and gives them tickets. But at the time, I was there during the Troy Aikman days, and the days they're actually winning. They said people will pay us to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, so why should we pay y'all?
Oh, did you feel used?
Not used, but after I cheered, I started to think, wow, how much they use our likeness and so much that we put into that organization and lots of practices 5 days a week, and you're not really compensated. So, but at the same time, I knew what I signed up for.
Were you a tomboy?
I was. Yeah, I grew up riding horses and going to all the sporting events with my father.
You baseball?
Yes, and you're going to hate it, but I'm a diehard Giants fan.
I don't hate it. I respect the Giants. They were loud.
Right. So I, grew up going to Candlestick. It's Candlestick Park at the time, watching Will Clark. And, I love baseball. It's my favorite sport. And then Niners and Warriors. And I grew up in the Bay Area just loving those teams.
Warriors win again? Well, they lost last year.
Yeah, they did, but they're looking good this year. They're peaking at the right time, and they're winning well without even KD.
Baumgartner's 0-3.
Oh, I know. No run support.
No scores.
No run support, Larry. So that's it's tough, And every time Bum's on the hill, no run support. But then Cueto, he's rocking and rolling right now.
Now the Red Sox don't hit for sale either.
Yeah, I know. So I feel bad for Bum, But you know how that is with baseball. You never know. It's a long season, but they're a shaky start.
Have you dated ball players?
Yeah, I mean, after, it's funny, while I'm working, though, I always make sure to keep that very, professional, and I, always want to make sure that that doesn't ever interfere, I always like to make sure that, right away, there's a lot of guys who've come on to me as, players, right?
Really?
And I let them know, I'm not, into that, keeping it pretty separate, and then they'll end up becoming, dear friends of mine, 10, 15 years later, and they're like, okay, I know I hit on you years ago, but now you're like a little sister to me.
Are you enjoying Basketball Wives?
I am. Funny enough, I know a lot of people are like, why would you join this cast? What were you thinking? But it's been a great platform, Larry, for me to be able to showcase, my charity work and to show, my career in a male-dominated world.
Scouting. Very interesting. I've talked to baseball scouts. They said that I'm a baseball fan all my life.
Right.
What they look at is not what I look at. In other words, there's an old joke. They send the scout out to look at this pitcher.
Right.
And he comes back and said, this pitcher threw a no-hitter for 7 innings and struck out everybody. One guy hit a foul ball, and the team says, sign the guy who hit the foul ball. They're looking at different things. You could swing and miss, and they like your swing.
Right. It's a lot of it about like you said, like just being able the fundamentals that you probably don't look at.
So what do you look for when you looked at college basketball players?
It's the same thing. At the time, Phil Jackson was the coach. So things that he looked for, high basketball IQ, could run the triangle, not a selfish player, big guards. He liked tall guards. So someone may see an undersized guard and be like, oh, wow, he should be in the NBA. But you got to remember, there's a big jump from college to the NBA, to the big. So there's a lot of different things that, we look at. And we watch these players, Larry, over and over again. We don't go to one game. If there's a prospect we like, you continually go and watch him against other players, how he plays in the tournament and so forth. So it's a long process, not just a couple games.
Does the scout want to know a lot about him personally?
Yeah.
Character?
I always was, very big on that. I know with certain teams, if they're a great player, they kind of look beyond that. But, I think it's very important to see that they would be coachable, that they would get along with their teammates. I think that's very important. Some teams, they don't look at that.
Next, Bonnie on joining the cast of VH1's Basketball Wives. Plus, we'll play a game of If You Only Knew. Don't click away. We're back with Bonnie-Jill Laflin, girl with three names. I love this. Have you been welcomed back by the cast?
I have. It's my first year, and I've made a couple good friends on the show. Shawnee O'Neal, Shaq's ex-wife, and Evelyn Lozada, and they've been.
She's very outspoken.
Yeah. So you watch the show, Larry, a little bit.
I've had her on.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
okay.
She's been on one of my podcasts, and she's very.
Yeah.
Outspoken.
And she's smart, too. She knows what she's doing. This is the 6th season, and they had a really high rating on their premiere. So
you like reality TV?
This is the first time I've ever done reality TV. I swore I wouldn't do it before because it's so invasive, and you never know how the editing's going to go. But so far, so good, Larry.
Did you ever want to be a sportscaster?
Yeah, I have done a lot of reporting for Fox Sports, for BBC, ESPN, because, the scouting, I was just doing basketball, and I love football, and I love baseball, and I love college sports. So I love when I'm able to, talk other sports than basketball.
You're going to do future years with this cast?
We shall see. I want to see how this first season plays out and then kind of make my decision from there.
Okay, we play a little game of If You Only Knew.
Uh-oh.
I just throw some questions
at
you. I like the bracelet.
Thank you.
Proudest accomplishment?
I guess being the first only female scout in the NBA.
Best piece of advice you ever got?
To have thick skin and be, integrity means a lot.
Worst piece of advice?
Oh, gosh, worst piece of advice. That's a tough one, Larry. Can we go back to that one?
Okay, yeah. It's not a court. Place we'll find you on a day off?
Dog park with my dogs.
Sport we'd be surprised you're a fan of?
Horse racing.
Me too.
Are you?
Oh.
Oh, yes.
Hey, I lived at Hialeah, Gulfstream.
Yeah, me and my dad, we own race horses. So,
You do?
yes, and I go to the Derby every year, and I love it.
This year's a pretty interesting crop
Well,
of
it's an open field now. It's going to be
Yeah.
kind of tough, I don't know.
Rosario rode a horse in the Florida Derby. No, the Wood Memorial.
Oh, okay, what's that one's?
War or something.
Yes, that's one to look at.
Watch
and then
that.
Classic Empire is another one.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Current favorite NBA player?
Current would have to be Kevin Durant or Steph Curry.
I like Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, God, what happened to him recently is...
Chris Paul.
Yeah, Chris Paul,
What a
yeah.
wonderful player he is.
Yeah, he is.
He'll stay with the Clippers because they can't. He maxes out his salary.
I was going to... Remember, he was almost going to be a Laker.
But once you can max out, how can anyone top that?
No, they
You sign
can't.
him. Pick to win the NBA championship.
This year, I'm going to go Warriors.
No kidding. Biggest pet peeve?
People who don't love animals.
Player you wish you'd brought to the Lakers?
Oh.
Was there a college kid you wanted them to draft and he went somewhere else?
I'm trying to think. God, there's so many years that I'm trying to think who would be someone that was Jerome Williams.
Biggest misconception about being a professional cheerleader?
That we're all airheaded, stupid, and don't know the game.
Something you wish you were better at?
I wish I could sing. I can't sing at all.
Person you would like to take to lunch?
Oh, gosh. Jane Goodall.
What is she doing? She's still with her animals.
Yeah.
Right? You're an animal lover.
A big animal activist. I love her.
Jane still goes to Africa?
Yeah, and saving the monkeys. I just think she's so inspiring, so I've always really loved her.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I've got 3 rescues, one that I rescued from China, because they eat the dogs over there. So I brought one back from China, and then 2, one was in the puppy bowl and one from the shelter, and then 3 cats. And horses too, rescue horses.
3 dogs and 3 cats?
Yeah.
They get along?
Sometimes.
Person you'd like to switch places with for a day?
Angelina Jolie. I love her.
Because you want to spend the night with Brad Pitt.
No, she's not even with Brad right now.
I know, but it don't matter.
No, I just love her. I just think she's just amazing, you know, beautiful inside and out.
Bonnie-Jill in 10 years.
I hope to be owning a sports team, even if it's a little bit, a little minority share. I dream big.
Do you want to be married?
Eventually, but I'd rather own a sports team first.
Want to have children?
Maybe. Maybe adopt instead.
You'd rather have a dog?
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks, dear.
Thanks, Larry.
You're great.
Appreciate it.
Big thanks to my guest, Bonnie-Jill Laflin. Tune in to Basketball Wives, airing Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on VH1. As always, you can find me on Twitter at Kings Things. See you next time.